Hey, Kenton, Ohio. It's Michelle Labis, and I just got home from the City Council meeting. It's February 24th, and I just wanted to give you an update on what happened in Council and kind of what's going on in the City of Kenton. Of course, all the construction. First up was Chief Musser came in and presented a letter they got from New Jersey. Detective Kearney actually helped New Jersey. So there's a gentleman in our city that was exploiting a child in New Jersey, is from what I understand. And New Jersey contacted Kenton and said, hey, we need to do an investigation. And Detective Kearney was like, hey, I'll do this for you. He got the warrant. He went and did the interview and was able to get a good interview to get this guy convicted. And they did a forensic download of his electronic equipment, right? And, they were able to, get this case resolved. And then New Jersey came and, got what they needed. And so they were just saying how thankful they were to have the cooperation of local police departments, because it's not common. It's not something, especially around New Jersey, New York area, they would have to send their investigators out to do this work. And here, Detective Kearney did it for them. He, since then, is last month went down for forensic analytics down in, I forget where he went, somewhere south, and did a month-long training down there. He is going back next month to do more training. And this is all, it's about $60,000, and it was all paid for by the U.S. Secret Service. And so he is actually going to be a liaison, I call it a liaison, that when they need these services in our area, because actually Ohio is a very high trafficked area. And so they can call Detective Kearney and he can go out and get this data very quickly instead of sending it to Vic, I think what they called it, which is like backlog 6 to 8 months. And so how cool is it to have somebody working for the Secret Service or working on behalf of the Secret Service in our area? And so good job to our Kenton Police for doing that, and bringing that resource close to home. We had Cindy Murray is talking about no chickens. You have to have almost an acre of land in order to have chickens in the city of Kenton. And so she was just telling people the price of eggs is high, but can't have chickens. And, so that's just a warning there. The public utilities. So, gosh, has it been a couple months ago that the Public Utilities Commission came and said, hey, they want to, okay, let me step back for a minute. The water department and the mayor and Cindy and all, the kind of the Kenton administrative got together and said that they need to streamline and make some changes in the water department because there's a lot of turnover. There's bills that aren't getting paid. I think we had like $50,000 that's unpaid. And then to get that paid, a lot of times you have to go back on your taxes, which takes 2 years because you have to send out the letters and do all the things. It's a lot of paperwork to get the money from these delinquent bills, or even to track people down if they move out of town. And so they came with an idea of changing the legislation, which other areas are doing. They're going through this process to make it so that your water bill goes to the property owner, right? So if you are a landlord, or I think it mostly affects landlords. There may be a couple other situations that instead of it being in the tenant's name, it is going to be in the landlord's name, which just brings stability to that water bill. So instead of having a tenant come in for 2 or 3 months, they go to get their first bill and they've already left town, and you don't know where they are and you're trying to track them down, it will just stay in the landlord's name, which usually those are all local people. So they have lots of options available to them to manage the bills. And actually, there are several large landlords that have already done this, where they have all their properties in one account, right? And so they charge their tenants this money. The tenants pay it as part of their rent, and they pay their water bill for all of them. And some people find that to be very helpful, and it's not a big deal. And they don't have to do it that way. There's several ways that they can do it, but there was a lot of meetings with the landlords and with the utilities board, and talking about possible solutions. And it really just came down to every kind of solution that you kind of went down a pathwise, be it more shutoffs, more meters, or trying to define what a multi-unit house was, or it always ended up maybe complicating the issue. And so to make it streamlined and effective, the legislation is really that key point of it, is that if you have a tenant that doesn't pay their water bill, right, then it's up to the property owner to get that bill, from their tenant, because the water bill is going to be due anyways, right? So, and so you won't have this turnover of new accounts all the time, which just takes paperwork. And the water department showed them how to get online. The water department can even send out the individual bills to the tenants. It would just be in the property owner's name, so they don't even have to send them to their to the different houses. So it works out. So they did pass that tonight. It's if you're interested, there's meetings on the City of Kenton website that you can listen into. It got to be a very complicated situation, but in the end, the legislation did pass. And so I think that will take effect in April, maybe. So any new leases that are up will go on this new process. Anything else will go maybe till the end of the year. I'm not sure what the timing, but they have kind of a gradual type of timing for that. And it will take some work just to do all the in bills and get the things switched over to the owner's names. But once that happens, then it should be a lot smoother, because despite what people think, the water department just doesn't send out water bills. They do several other things that take up time and is required by the water department, by the state. And so the water bills is only just one of the portions. And if we can make it a little more streamlined and a little bit easier, I think that's great. So that was a really big deal. It won't change anything for us. One of the proposals was to hire more staff, which if you hire more staff, then that requires more money. So that would have affected us. So there were things that we're avoiding an increase in cost, although we do have to have a new water plant. And so that is going to be coming down the pipeline here sooner than later. So something to watch for. Other than that, I don't think there was much. Mayor Lynn talked about the freezing and thawing and the potholes. There's a complaint form on the City of Kenton that if you have a pothole, that, is very bothersome. Now the crew are out and they're going to be filling those. It just takes time. And of course, I don't know if they have to wait till it's done freezing to really fill those. But you can go onto the website, you can fill out a report of concern, just include, the cross streets or the intersection of where that pothole is, and they will get that information to the crew. And they're still dealing with all the truck traffic that is, they're working with oh, I don't know if it's ODOT or some other project as far as maybe changing the language on the signs to try and let the truckers know that the four road closed signs that they already have is not sufficient, right? So there's maybe another thing that they can do to let people know that no, really, the road is absolutely closed. Because I think they think if they come up that they will be able just to skirt around it, but everywhere they're trying to get around is residential. And I know there was a guy over by Marathon, and he took out the concrete post and the sign and a fire hydrant, and it's just really a mess. Now the company will have to pay to replace those, but it is certainly a mess. It's keeping them very busy, and unfortunately our police department does not get any revenue from tickets, unlike I always assumed that they did, but we don't actually get any revenue from the police department. Doesn't get any revenue from that, and so they're just out there trying to keep us safe, because that's part of their job. So other than that, there wasn't anything big. There was something else. Jon Cross did come in and talk about his consulting job here at the city, and I'm going to make a separate post about that on the 5 things that he is going to be helping with for the city of Kenton. And so, but other than that, the meeting was pretty short, and so I will see you guys next time. Thanks.